The president and the Democrats are facing some strong headwinds. 43 days, and you know I'm always counting, from the critical midterm elections. New polling is showing that voters are losing their confidence in President Biden, as he and his political party are struggling on issues that voters say are absolutely critical to them. The new ABC News Washington Post poll gives Republicans a 4-point edge among likely voters, 51% to 47%. And you see that's just under the margin of error there. The president is finding himself in some tough water in the same polling. Only 39% of voters approve of the job he's doing. 53% say they don't approve. And the president's approval even got worse on the economy, as the majority of Democrats now say they want to replace him as their 2024 nominee. Ouch. Meanwhile, the president's former White House press secretary, Jen Psaki, had this dire warning for Democrats.
Look, I think that Democrats, if the election is about who is the most extreme, then they're going to win. If it is a referendum on the president, they will lose, and they know that.
Kaylee.
Jen Psaki is exactly right. You don't hear me say that often, but good for her for giving this really sober, clear-eyed assessment to her party. If it's a referendum on President Biden, Democrats lose. She went on in that clip to say a weak kind of Achilles heel for my party is crime. And the immediate question I had was, did you tell your boss that? Because Jen Psaki's not a policymaker, but she does have access to the president. She did have access for a year and a half.
You think, and she still would probably. You would know. You were former press secretary.
She still would, presumably, especially if she had Oval Office walk-in privileges. So I wonder if at any point she said to him, hey, Mr. President, this is a weak spot for us, because we know it took President Biden 6 months into his presidency to even give an address on crime, to even acknowledge it as an issue. Did she push for that to happen? Because it is now the #4 issue among voters. And you pointed this out on your show. One point she didn't mention, the #3 issue among voters is education. Looks like Virginia was a bellwether. So take note of what happened there, because it could happen again on a nationwide scale.
So, Sean, as you look at Capitol Hill right now, and there has to be some talk, and you've been on Capitol Hill formerly as a congressman,
10 years,
about what is really going on. I know Democrats say, well, we don't watch the ones in the White House. We don't watch the polling, but they can't turn away from the facts here.
Of course, I partially agree with Kaylee that Jen Psaki is half right. If you focus on Joe Biden, Republicans win. But saying that Republicans are extremists is absolutely false. I mean, that's not true. Democrats have been extreme on policy. And to your point, Harris, every first day that the Congress comes back, Republicans meet. They have a Republican conference. And I guarantee you they talk about polling and what issues matter and how Republicans are supposed to message and what they're supposed to do. And I guarantee you Republicans are talking about earned media. That's when you go back at home in your local TV station. What are you talking about? Are you talking about the economy, jobs, education, how extreme Democrats are? Are you tying your opponent to Joe Biden, which, by the way, if you do that successfully, you win? How much money are you raising to put your ads on television and also on social media? But the third part of this is, where are Republican or conservative voters? I know when I first ran, people came and very nicely asked me very hard questions, and they recorded me. Where are Republicans actually asking Democrats questions that the media won't ask them? Record them.
You
get
say
their
this
response.
often.
Like on Stacey Abrams.
Yeah.
Yes.
You say this often, that you like to see those of us in the journalism side of the media really pressing on everybody.
Not just one side, which is what they do. It's just a one side. So you can be a journalist at home, ask the tough questions. Ask, the Stacey Abrams question: should women not believe their ultrasounds and instead believe Stacey Abrams that heartbeats don't start at 6 weeks? I mean, answer that for me. And they can't. So that's a great video.
Yep.
Sharon, as you look at this, one of the things I think that's missing in politics, particularly as we're 43 days out, are just the voices of voters. I mean, it really, people on the left say they don't even want to do debates. It's not just the Pennsylvania race with Dr. Oz, the Republican, in that, and John Fetterman, the Democrat, who says he doesn't really want to do them. But why would that be?
I wish I knew. I mean, I wish we all had a crystal ball that we knew why so many things happen. But I do think that education here is so drastically needed. And if you look in the polls on the world, of education, where's the best education? I mean, don't we come like 24th or 34th? I think it's that far down. And to think that this great country, our education level is so low. And also, of course, crime. And the thing that I don't understand, is President Biden running again? Won't he be about 102?
At least looking.
No. He turns 80 in November. He would be the oldest president for certain.
Why would anyone at 80 want that job? It's like it's enough. Have a life.
Get some rest.
I want to follow up with something with you because education is something that Republicans just put in their commitment to America when they rolled this out late last week. And they have a parental bill of rights. And they recognize that that's something that they can hit Democrats on pretty readily. In the middle, though, are just all of us parents who are just trying to get the best for our students and our children. And we feel like we're not being heard.
Well, I don't think a lot of parents are, because the things that are going on in so many schools, I mean, I can't speak for the whole country, but I can speak for Los Angeles. Certain things are going on in schools now, and teachers are saying, don't tell your parents.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And it's kind of frightening that a parent doesn't have enough control in the school to say, I'm sorry, my child's too young to know about this, or whatever the situation is, that the teacher decides, and that's not right. It's up to the parents.
Especially after nearly a year of lockdowns across the country, Emily. I mean, we were good enough to be with those children when they were home with us, but we're not good enough to be going to a board meeting without the FBI and the DOJ thinking that we are potential terrorists?
I mean, it's shocking to me that we are even, we meaning proverbially in this country, having the conversation of whether or not parents should have a large share control over what their students, their children are exposed to, and whether or not a teacher hides something from them. I mean, that's absolutely ridiculous. It's totally unacceptable. And I have to say, going back to the crime thing, you're absolutely right. And keep in mind that 50% of Americans, as we just learned from this Sunday poll that we mentioned earlier, think that Biden has accomplished little or nothing. That's a huge amount. And the fact that Jen Psaki was talking about this weekend, to your point, follow the money, she said, it shows that a lot of Republicans are putting their advertising dollars in these campaigns into the crime. But what about the policies behind it? What about the fact that her party and Biden's party were the ones championing defunding the police? They weren't vocally supporting the police. Both of those were really impactful and had negative effects on millions of citizens in this country. And so to me, it's sort of like if you've blood all over your shirt and someone comes over and they're like, oh, honey, the red doesn't match. Like, but can't you see I'm bleeding? Can't you see the wound? So when you talk about this in terms of advertising dollars and what you're campaigning on, you're campaigning on this because people are dying. They are unsafe and they are fearful for the safety of their families while they struggle to put food on the table. So the disconnect of this party and Biden and Psaki is just so real every day.
But when you think about this great country, and then you do research on how many food banks there are. And these food banks feed people who actually have jobs, but they still, at the end of the month, don't have enough to give the food that they would like to give their kids. I mean, it's a disgrace.
It is.
It's twofold. They're getting hit in every direction. Yeah. The crime is so interesting, though. It's not that they don't see it, Emily. It's just that until the advertising dollars point them in that direction, they don't feel the need to call it out and try to fix it. That's the part that really hurts.
Hey everyone, I'm Emily Campagno. Catch me and my co-hosts Harris Faulkner and Kaylee McEnany on Outnumbered every weekday at 12 p.m. Eastern, or set your DVR. Also, don't forget to subscribe to the Fox News YouTube page for daily highlights.